Did you know that non-tangible assets can massively affect the value of your business and the money someone will be willing to pay for it? So what are your non-tangible assets? It's a brand, patents, agreements, processes, trade secrets, and finally, it's the list. So what do you think is your biggest business asset? Is it your plant and equipment? Is it your warehouse facilities? Maybe your people? Marketing ideas, or maybe it's a quality control process. What is your business biggest asset? Now, let me challenge your beliefs by saying that your biggest business asset is not your plant and equipment because they are quickly depreciating. It's not your warehouse facilities because they can be rebuilt or moved. And sadly, it's not even your people because people can move on. Your biggest business asset is the list. Now, quick disclaimer, I don't suggest that everything else is not important. I just would like to stress how important is the asset, which is probably most neglected in many businesses we've seen. Now, had you noticed that your list of customers and prospects, along with other non-tangible assets, are often the key reasons for a business to be bought? How many businesses were sold just for the list of customers? These assets influence the value of your business. Now, the money is in the list. Had you heard of that? Let's face it, no sane person buys a company for its past glory. Everyone is interested in future opportunities. Business buyers are interested in financials, of course, but even more so, they're interested in the foundation for future earnings. Is there a market? Is there the opportunity to grow? That's what on buyer's mind. What can lay this foundation better than a list of your customers and target audience? Plus, of course, a system to grow this list of potential future buyers. Now, today is all about how to protect and grow your biggest business asset, which we'd like to claim is the list. Now, who am I and why I'm talking to you about this? My name is Asiya Selikova. I'm a managing director of eIdeas Limited, boutique marketing implementation agency since 2003. Our core belief is that as savvy business owners, you already have a vague idea or a clear idea of what needs to be done. But sadly, you often lack time, resource, or technical experience and expertise to execute. That's why we believe that implementation is the most important. Now, let me quickly introduce us as a company. We've been established in 2003 as part of Graphic Design Studio. You can see some of the brands we developed over the years. We have hit in 2005, we started Who Is Where, which is now the largest verified business database in New Zealand with over 200,000 business locations. We now supply data to Campus International as well. And eIdeas, as a company, we specialize in business-to-business, bespoke, profitable sales and marketing solutions for growth. Now, right now, we're in the middle of introducing the next step of eIdeas Limited evolution, and I could not help but share this good news with you too. We are set to disrupt the traditional approach to B2B sales and marketing for better results and business growth. Smarketing Lab, profitable B2B solutions for growth. You're welcome to visit our website, smarketinglab.co.nz, to learn more what it is about. Now, let's come back to today's presentation. So when it comes to your biggest business asset, I am frustrated, and you should be too, because most companies do not know the actual size of their market. So their financial projections are, I would say, fraud. As strong as that, they're not accurate and they're way off. Why? Because if you miscalculate, and typically people misjudge the market to the larger extent, every financial projection is not accurate at all because you are counting on things which don't even exist. And then you also waste a lot of unaccounted dollars to get a poorly maintained list. Why I'm so bold to state that? Let's consider the cost of 2 hours per day, which is considered the minimum what your sales professionals are spending or wasting either way you may look at it, 2 hours per day per salesperson, that amounts to a massive upwards of $10,000 per person per annum. Do you have 8 sales professionals? How about $80,000 thrown out of the window, because this is how much it cost you to fund their surfing the net, walking the streets, driving around to pick up who is a good prospect. And finally, I'm also frustrated that there is massive, and I would like to stress it, massive lack of care when it comes to your customer and prospecting list. As a result, after decades in business, you have little to show for it. Now, I respect every company which does not have this problem. I truly am. The reason I'm claiming this is because countless companies of every size in every industry who come to us have these challenges. Poorly maintained lists, from government to a startup, this is a massive, massive problem. People driving around the city trying to second guess if this company, by the look on their frontage, is a good prospect. Massive a waste of time and space. Is it a bit harsh? Don't take my word for it. Let's check it out right now. Seriously, I would like you to check how well prepared are you when it comes to your biggest, or let's say one of the biggest assets. So very quickly, we're going to do an exercise. Let's work in pairs. And as we work in pairs, I would like you to ask one question, and we will take these 3 questions. They're very simple. You're welcome to take notes if that's of interest. And I also would like you to show hands if you can answer this question in a particular way. So the first question is, what is the size of your target market in New Zealand? Just a number. And I would like you to put your hand if you know a number. It can be approximate number, but I want you to kind of think and spell out to your partner in this exercise the actual number. So if you will say, oh, lots, this is not the number. If you will say between 10 and 15,000, this is a number. If you will say 783, this is a number 2. Yep. Now, 30 seconds to do that. Fantastic. Now we can see how many people actually do know the size of the market. This is a remarkable result. Thank you very much. Now, the second question, can you provide a list of your customers within 1 hour? I would like you to show hands if your answer is yes. Now, we're not judging you or anything else. We just want to measure the temperature of this room. And if you feel a little bit embarrassed that you can't put your hand up, so should you, because your customer list is your truly biggest business asset. And last but not the least, the question, how long would it take you to get a list of your target market? Hours, days, months, years? Maybe you spend 20 years, and this is like a real story. People come to me and they will say, oh, I've been in business for 23 years, and all this time I collected the biggest list of blah, 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 my target market. 30 minutes later, I can prove to him, because of course you have to prove it, I can prove that this company is missing 50% of their market. And this is just on the first glance. I hadn't even done any serious research. I just ran some numbers while being on the phone to the person. Now, I think it is like really, really unfortunate that after 23 years, the company only was able to identify 100 companies. Now, their target market is not massive. In 23 years, they found 100. In 30 minutes, I found 120 more, and I'm very certain that if I will spend a little bit more time, I will probably give them 200. What does it mean? The company is already doing well. They want more sales. Why not to triple your target market and go after them? Now, they're not like maybes or imaginary. No, they're the exact right companies. And in this 30 minutes, I'm able to prove that out of these new companies which I uncovered, they're well qualified, they're exactly what they need, and they never heard of them. So how long would it take you to get a list of your target market? Can you please put your hand up if it takes days? Perfect. If it takes hours, let's just put down and just keep holding if it will only take you hours. Because if it only take you hours, that means that you actually have them somewhere in your system and all you need to do is to pull them out. Yep. Now, congratulations to everyone who were able to put your hands up for any of these 3 questions, because realistically, let's face it, these are the most important things for your business to thrive and grow, and most interesting for any business buyer. Now, how was it? Enlightening, challenging, interesting? What can you do now to get control over your biggest business asset? In the next 15 minutes, you will learn about a proven path, in fact, a necessary path for every company to finally get control over your biggest business asset and have a system to protect and grow it, because the value of your business hinges on that more than you could have thought until now. So let's talk about proven path to protect and grow your list. It comes in 4 steps. You know, many good things come in 4 steps. Step number 1 is you need to measure your target market. Seriously, you do. Unless you know the numbers, the size of your target market, everything else makes little difference. Step number 2, you have to invest to get the most complete list. I'm not talking necessarily coming to someone like ourselves to purchase the list. No, not necessarily, but you need to invest to get the most complete list. And whatever it takes, you should do it. Now, step number 3, you have to set up an internal system to maintain the list, because without internal system to maintain the list, it will go out of date within a month. And within 3 years, your list is like nowhere. It's not valuable at all. And by the way, do you know how many businesses still have in their billing system the old name of the company, the old phone number, which is now disconnected, the old address, and the fact that you're now sending invoices electronically doesn't mean a thing. If something happens, you don't even have means to reach out the company. And step number 4, identify and develop ways to grow your list. This is a truly never-ending activity for many businesses. But unless you have a system to grow your list, what is the value of your business for a buyer? If they, if there is no system to grow your list, if there is no system to maintain your list, your business is so much less attractive. Now, grab a pen and paper to take notes so that you will have an action plan by the end of this presentation. We're an implementation company, so we're all about taking action, taking timely action without delay. And yes, today is the day of learning, and you will learn lots of facts and figures, but I also want that you will take something out of today, something tangible, something that actually can guide you on the journey to make your business more valuable. Now, step 1, measure your target market. So to measure your target market, to measure something, you need to know what are you measuring. That is why the first step in step number 1 is to define your target audience. I can't even count how many times, like hundreds and thousands of times, I had conversations with business owners just like you who will say, oh, it's so hard to define our target audience. It's like almost impossible. I would like to invite you to see how this impossible becomes possible and how each one of you will get better idea about your target audience definition in just a few minutes from now. How is that? So the first one, when you start defining your target audience, is very simple: location. Maybe you're only operating regionally. Maybe you only operate in your suburb, and maybe you're operating nationally and internationally. So location is the easiest way to define your target audience. And, a lot of good businesses, they're very certain about where, which location they operate. Yeah, sure, you can service anyone anywhere, but would it be worth your time and effort? So location, I'm giving you 30 seconds to actually jot down this simple answer. What is the location of your target market? Which market do you service? Is it national, international? Is it South Island, North Island? Is it just the region? What is it? I suspect that you already done this. Now, the next one, we need to talk about size. Now, when we're talking about business to business, businesses servicing other businesses, we talk about the size of the businesses we service. And when we talk about business to consumer, we often talk about age of what is the age of people we're working with. Now, when we talk about size matters, yes? If this is a startup, if this is a small company, they have lots of needs, but maybe they're lacking finance to satisfy these needs. When we talk about the largest companies, they have all the means often, but they also have a lengthy process, maybe tenders, they have, like forward plans, and they're not that easy to break through. When we talk about medium-sized companies, by the way, what is medium-sized? Do you think that companies 50 to 100 staff is a medium-sized company? Do you think that 5 to 50 staff is a medium-sized company? Whatever it is you're thinking, the important thing is to be mindful, where is your sweet spot? What is your target audience? Who are your beta customers? Do not, we all know that trying to sell everything to everyone is not a good idea. What is your sweet spot? What size of business is the kind of business you would like to work with? And I'll give you 30 seconds to actually think about this. And if you want, you can consult if you're not the only person from this business. I'll shut up for 45 seconds. Now, the last but not the least is the type of industry when we talk about businesses, or demographics when we talk about consumers. Now, we specialize in business to business, and I know that a lot of businesses here are into business to business. So let's talk about the industry. On the next slide, you can see the list of main industry categories. And by the way, if you can't see whom you're servicing here, they are the last one, other services. So the other services are garages, mechanics, hairdressers, beauticians, and so forth. So what I would like you to do, because this is about your action plan, is I want you to look through this list, and you have it in the printouts. I want you to go through each of these industries and answer yourself yes or no, yes or no. And if you don't have a printout, then you can just jot down the industries which you are saying yes. So number one, agriculture, forestry and fishing, pretty straightforward. Mining, manufacturing, all manufacturing. Or maybe you only want to service some part of manufacturing. For example, maybe your target market are food manufacturers or engineering manufacturers. Well, this is really good, because drilling down, we have over 900 different sub-industries within each one of these categories. And then what about, like many others are kind of self-explanatory, but what about professional, scientific and technical services? Well, the sky's the limit there. We talk about accountants, lawyers, advertising, graphic design, everything about IT, software development. So there is a wide range of different types of businesses underneath. Education and training, that spans from schools to private training. So I'm not suggesting that just using this list, you can completely define your target market. If you if you visit our website, whoiswhere.co.nz, you will be able to download the list of these 900 industry categories and carefully go through them. But what I would like to make sure is happening right here, right now, is that you can see a very clear 3-step process: location, size of business, and industry, which can reasonably well define your target market. And please do not say that, oh, but this is like kind of difficult. It is difficult only when you do not think it through of which industries your best customers operate. And you always know that. Every time I have a conversation with a business owner like you, we always get to the bottom of it. You may have exceptions, you may have some other rules, you may have to drill down, but this is always very possible. You may say, oh, accommodation, I only want to deal with motels. Yeah, that's fine. You can say this is like motels is your target market. You're not confined to take those which you don't want. But if you don't take a moment with your team to understand who is your target market, then you are forever going to make predictions, financial predictions, sales predictions, which may be never attainable. And I mean it, never attainable. Because the next step after this, once you will identify your target. So what is really important is to discover the size of your audience. One would think that in a country with population of just over 5 million people, it should be possible to measure the size of your market, especially when it comes to the number of businesses when you're in a B2B business. Wrong. It's real challenging to establish the number of businesses. Now, you may say that maybe Statistics New Zealand is very knowledgeable. Yes, they are, but only to a degree, because Statistics New Zealand believes there is about 340,000 businesses with 0 employees. And they also do not account for a wide range of businesses as well. And they double count. Now, they're double counting. There is nothing wrong with that. This is the way how business is structured. So if you are a painting company and you also have a scaffolding hire company where there is like the same number of people, the same people are doing both, but you pay taxes as 2 companies and all of that, State New Zealand will count you as 2 companies, which is nothing wrong from the economic standpoint, but it is totally wrong if I am selling some, I don't know, like high visibility gear to this company, because they don't have twice as many people. They only have the same number of people. So from sales and marketing perspective, this is just like one company. So Statistics New Zealand can be great, and it also can be misleading. Market research, yeah, of course, you can do market research, fantastic. But the truth to be said, the market research um, requires a lot of passion, determination, and you still need to have the list. Otherwise, you're asking wrong people. And then you can come to suppliers of business or consumers list. Some providers like ourselves, who is where, and also we supply data to Compass. Now, we have over 200,000 business locations, and in many cases, we have a very, very factual, very logical understanding of the number of businesses in the industries, in the territories. So if you are serious about discovering the size of your audience, you can do all 3. And you can start from States New Zealand. You can talk to us about the numbers. And of course, you're always welcome to conduct market research, which we'll be delighted to help you with. Now, step number 2. Now that you know the size of the market, you know what to measure against, right? So if the size of your market, let's say like 5,000 businesses, then you know that you should have a list of 5,000 businesses. Now, we inspire you to get the most comprehensive list. How do you do this? Step number 1, you stock take what you have. You pull out all the lists you have, because you as a company have plenty of these lists already, but they are probably scattered across your sales professionals. Some of them are in your accounting system because they're your customers, all over the place. So get one list. Number 2, assess what is missing. So let's say if the size of your target market is 5,000 businesses, and maybe your list is only 2,000. Well, that means that 3,000 is missing. Now, the opposite can be true. Maybe your list is 10,000, while every indication tells you that there is only 5,000 businesses in your target market. This is a really good signal to tell you that maybe your actual list, maybe your actual customers are not in your target audience. Now, this may lead to one of 2 steps. You can either expand your target market, no harm in that, and it is allowed, it is not illegal, or you may say acknowledge that you used to sell to every man and a dog, and now you would like to focus on some, and because of that, you need to prioritize your list, understand your list better, and maybe get rid of some of their contacts, or like put them aside, saying, look, they are like D type of customers who only buy every 10 years. So we maybe are not that focused on servicing them. Now, and the next step is to invest to improve and grow. Now, the first step in improving and growing your list is, of course, to clean your data and then enrich your data. What I'm talking about, if you only have a number of company, no phone number, no contact person, no address, what good, this data is for you? Yep, the company is there. Maybe they're even closed. Yep. So before doing anything else, you need to put all your lists in one place. You need to assess what is missing. Then you need to make sure that what you have is in a good shape. How many companies keep old, incorrect data in the accounting system? You would say none? I disagree. I've seen so many lists of very reputable organizations, not to be named here, where their contact details of people whom they're billing, people they're receiving, sending goods to, are not accurate. This is not funny. And the last but not the least, you can invest in more data. So if you discovered that your list is like 2,000 and the size of your market is 5, you can come back to someone like ourselves and we will be once again delighted to supply you with more data. Now, typically, we're able to add about 40% of businesses. On occasion, on a rare occasion, we can only add, say, 8% to someone who is really good in maintaining their list, or for someone whose target market is very precise, like they only supply to hairdressers and that's it. And you would think that people who've been in business for ages would know the full list of hairdressers. Not true, not true, not true. Time and time again, people come to us and we're able to show them the part of the market which they're missing. Now, you may say you don't care. That's your choice. But if I am the buyer of your business, I want to know if there is a potential. And when you tell me that the whole market knows you and everyone buys from you, I see no future opportunity for growth. Because, sorry, let me rephrase that. There could be an opportunity to grow by introducing new products to the same market. That's true. But I'm also interested, are we able to expand? Because no supplier, no company is the total monopoly. Well, except maybe some. But none of us here is a total monopoly in our side, in our industry. So let me expose a trade secret. The main reason your company does not have a complete list of your target market is because it is a tedious and boring job. Yep, that's it. It is a tedious and boring job. And I can stand here for days and weeks telling you how tedious and boring it is. But the fact is, that's the main reason. It's not that you don't recognize this is valuable. It's not that you don't know it is valuable. It's not even that you don't want to do it. It's just a tedious and boring job. No one wants to do it. And as we know, sales professionals are the worst in maintaining any data. Yep. So I live in hope and a sincere belief that there are a growing number of businesses, proactive businesses like yourselves, who once they recognize the value of non-tangible assets, and especially the value of the list, they can make a conscious decision, they can make a choice to do things better. And yes, there is a solution. Option number 1 is to apply some conscious effort and set up a process. And I truly believe that each one of you is extremely capable of doing that. But just in case, if you need a little bit of a hand or a lot of help with both process and also like getting it done, cleaning the data, enriching, getting more data, then you always have option number 2, outsource to third party. Yep, to someone like us. Now, there is a coming back to the proven path to project and grow your list. So we already spoken about step number 1, measuring your target market. Just out of curiosity, those who do not know the current size of their target market, who have made a decision in the last 15 minutes to actually find out what is the size of their market? Thank you. I really appreciate that some people made this decision right now, right here. Step number 2, invest to get the most complete list. Who here just now in the next few minutes decided that it will be a worthy exercise to get everything you know about the marketplace into one list? Fantastic. Now step 3 is reserved for champions only. I seriously mean it. So many companies are lacking process in the area of maintaining data. Once again, you can come to us, we can help you to set up the process, we can do things for you, but most importantly, it's about your business decision to recognize the value of the asset which the list is and looking for ways of what can be done. And then step number 4, identify and develop ways to grow your list. This is a never-ending activity. And this is really about your sales funnel. And we have massive recommendations here. You have to go to the right audience, and we discussed all of it. You have to produce relevant content. You have to provide repetitive connections. And most of all, you have to do relentless follow-up. Because at the end of the day, having the list is very valuable. But just like as a piece of plant and equipment, if it is not used, then that wasn't worth having it. So when you have the list, this is the first step to building a better sales process, to building a better marketing process, to actually building a system which is guaranteed to deliver leads and further down the track sales day in, day out. And that's the reason that we are talking about this today. Does it make sense? Are you inspired to apply? Who is inspired to apply this? Great. And what can help you to get it done? What you really need is a partner to help you implement what your business needs and actually get the important stuff done. I'm not suggesting that you can't do it yourselves, but I've got a hint that if you had not done this, if you had not set up the systems to maintain your list in 10, 20, 30, 50, 70 years being in business, probably you need a hand. Likely you need a hand. You need someone to help you so that you can achieve what you always wanted from the day you started the business growth. Now, are you here today to seek the ways how to sell your business to the highest bidder? Well, big news. When you maintain your biggest business asset, the list, you can rightfully demand greater price for your business. And it doesn't take that long to fix all of this. Now, that is why we recently introduced Marketing Lab, one system, one company, from strategy to implementation, because not only we can supply you the list, but we can take you all the way through. We can help you to build the process around this list. We can help you to build sales process. That's the whole different story. How many companies can't produce a printed, a written version of their sales process? Why? Because the sales process is once again one of those non-tangible assets which business buyers are looking out for. And if there is a challenge about getting the top dollar, if there is a challenge about selling the business, oftentimes it's your non-tangible assets which are poorly maintained, not defined, or not even recognized, which are taking buyers away from your business. Now, I would like to say big thank you for your active participation today, for your listening, and hopefully for your questions after that. Because you know what? I firmly believe that even if you had not thought about it that much, after today's presentation, you will question where is your biggest business asset? Where is the list? What happens with this list? Because let's face it, money in the list. Thank you.